Hello, everyone. This is John Jenkins, founder of Battlegans, and so here is the video for you today. So, how to completely solve gang, how to, I'm sorry, that's the wrong title. So, how to solve 50% of gang stalking instantly. How to solve 50% of gang stalking instantly. And there's a lot of videos going on about people talking about gang stalking and how it's such a terrible thing, and I do not disagree. But the question for today is how to solve 50% of gang stalking instantly. So the the way to solve 50% of gang stalking instantly is to accept treatment for schizophrenia. Now I know there's gonna be a million people who are gonna blast me for this. So how dare you say I'm schizophrenic? So two things can be true at the same time. So I do believe 100% that gang stalking is real. It's a real phenomenon. It really has effects on people's lives. But I do believe it's real. I believe it happened to me. I believe it's real. I believe it's a real phenomenon that has real consequences in the world. But I personally talked to I personally communicate with hundreds of targeted individuals at this point, and from blog posts to social media posts to over the phone to in person. So I've communicated with hundreds of targeted individuals at this point, and having communicated with all these targeted individuals, I've realized that around 98 to 99% of these people are schizophrenic. And, and, and I know I'm going to get blasted for this, but two things can be, like I said, two things can be true at once. Gang stalking is 100% real, and 98% of target individuals are schizophrenic. So it's one thing if you're talking about I have a very specific problem, which is V2K. For example, V2K. I have a very specific problem, which is V2K. It happens in this very specific scenario, and it's a problem for these specific reasons. So that's one thing. But when you're like 98% of the target individuals that I communicate with over the years, and you're talking about how every single thing that happened to you since you were born is a plot to kill you, and you're talking about how every single thing that somebody does for you, even if it's the nicest thing, even if the person's buying you food or buying you gifts, or even if somebody's paying you a compliment, the nicest thing that ever happened to you in your life is a plot to kill you. If you're saying that every single thing that happened to you since birth is a plot to kill you, you are schizophrenic. That's not. I'm not trying to split hairs here. What I'm saying ultimately is that a lot of targeted individuals, they go out, they get railroaded into disability. So the first instinct is, well, I can just apply for a misdiagnosis. So they take out the misdiagnosis form, they apply for a lawyer, they pay hundreds or thousands of dollars at the lawyer, at the law office, to they pay to file a small claims. They pay to file a misdiagnosis lawsuit to get their name cleared, and then they go through the misdiagnosis. They finally get the misdiagnosis finally goes through, and they are declared sane. But then a year later, they're living under the overpass on Lakeshore Drive in Chicago, for instance. A year later, they're living under the overpass at Lakeshore Drive because they cannot function in society because they don't have their medication. See, so what I'm saying is, it is not worth it to invest all that money in a misdiagnosis just so that you can live off the street for the rest of your life and eat out of garbage cans. You know, if you, I mean, so in my experience, 98% of the target individuals that I have met are schizophrenic. If you have to know yourself. If you know that what you're saying is schizophrenic, then you need to accept your diagnosis. And like I said, 50% of 50% of the gang stalking problem is gang stalking itself. That's 50%. The other half of gang stalking problem is the fact that you are most likely schizophrenic. And like I'm no different. I was in denial about being schizophrenic for about 10 years. It took me 10 years past my diagnosis. It took my it took my psychiatrist literally trying to set me up to get injured. It took my psychiatrist and my case manager literally trying to set me up to get injured before I finally admitted to myself that I was schizophrenic. What I'm telling you is that your life will be so much easier if you can just get rid of the schizophrenia part. Then the rest, then half the problem is gone. If you can live indoors, if you can live indoors with indoor plumbing, if you can go to a store and buy food without getting banned from the store because you're walking around looking crazy, if you can actually function in society, then you are way better off than the majority of target individuals that I've met or interacted with over the years. Thank you very much. Have a great day and goodbye.